My name's Andrew Prendergast. I'm senior partner over here at White Dalton Motorcycle Solicitors, and we're back with part 2 with Boothy, which is to discuss the truth about amputation. All right, Boothy, I suppose the big reveal. Let's pop the leg up on the table and have a look at it.
Shall I get it out?
Get it out for the boys
There we go,
and the girls.
That's my new leg.
Wow.
So
okay.
I've actually only been wearing this a couple of weeks. So how it works is I'll put my stump in that end, obviously.
Yeah, my niece, I was talking to her yesterday about this, and she's like, "Oh, how did his leg not fall off?" And I was like, "That's a good question."
It's pretty trick. So the leg goes in there. This neoprene sleeve kind of rolls up like a big foreskin.
I was wondering if you're going to use the phrase.
Yeah.
So a giant foreskin.
Massive foreskin. And that sort of holds it in place. And then it has like a, if we just roll this up, you'll be able to see, it's a little bit dusty. Have you got hold of that?
Yeah, I got hold of it.
This thing here is like a valve. So every time I put weight through my leg,
yeah,
the air comes out of this valve, and there's a little suction pump in here that sucks the air out of the socket, so that it doesn't move. It sucks tight in. Yeah.
So is it the air sucked out effectively?
Exactly. Yeah.
Or pushed out, so it holds on.
So it fixes on. You don't want any movement. As soon as my stump starts moving in there, it'll rub, and then you get blisters, and then the skin starts breaking down. You get infections, and
So you got to be really careful.
You got to be really careful. Yeah.
Okay, so working the way down the leg, that's the pressure release button.
Yeah.
And then what else have we got in here?
We've got a couple of like grub screws here for adjusting the kind of line and stuff. I don't.
You don't mess with that. You leave the experts to do that.
Experts to do that. There's a sleeve there which can be altered for like leg length.
So just on that point for the viewers at home, again, we're talking about running a case where someone's suffered an amputation. When you look into the future, not only is it buying a leg, and some of these are £100,000 each or whatnot, it's then the servicing. So it's not just get a leg and go off and use it. You need experts to make sure it's aligned.
Yeah.
Like riding a bike, really. Once a year, twice a year, you need to get it serviced. Same with your leg.
Yeah. And they break as well, do you know?
Have you bust one yet?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Not a completely destroyed one, but like there's little parts of them that like the covers to bolts and the springs at the bottom that get damaged over time, and
things wear out.
Yeah. So
we're working. So we've got adjustment in here, and then what's further down?
So this piece here is the beginning of like a big curved spring. Do you know, like the sort of Pistorius spec kind of blade?
Yeah.
So it has sort of one of them, apart from the fact it's got a foam foot on it, so that you can put a shoe on.
Okay.
So this is just you can't see because I'm probably not strong enough, but there is a bit of
flex.
There's a bit of flex. So every step isn't quite as rigid as what I might otherwise be.
Fantastic. I mean, technology is amazing, fantastic.
One of the benefits of some pretty horrific wars and stuff, the technology that's come off the back of a lot of people losing their legs is ended up meaning that I've got quite an advanced leg to live my life on. I mean, it's not as advanced as the one next to it.
Yeah,
I'd rather have one like that.
I'd rather have the old one back, but this is doing pretty well. Stating the obvious, it's life changing.
Yeah.
And it's not as straightforward as people realise.
No.
And the future, I mean, you're only a young man in your 30s. Looking to the future, you've kind of got to think, right, I've got to make my body last because I'm now walking differently.
Yeah.
I'm wearing other bits out.
Yeah.
And practically, what am I going to do, or can I do day to day to work or not work?
Yeah.
Without depressing you, but it's a management thing, a mindset of like, right, I could go full tilt, but I'm going to feel it tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. And just, you mentioned getting older, and that's something that I worry about quite a lot. I'm 33, I think.
Well, that's not a trick question. I didn't even ask that question, but if you can work that out.
I'm in my 30s, and had I not had the injuries, I would be fine, like totally able-bodied.
Yeah.
When you're 70 years old, do you know, I know, well, we all know a few 70-year-olds that are quite sprightly, but most of them aren't, are they, you know?
Yeah, you've got to work out. Like, I would have been two-legged in 70, now I'm one-legged in 70.
Yeah.
So what we have with our clients who've suffered an amputation, we'll go off and get a care expert who'll work out how much more care someone needs with one leg compared with two.
Right.
So help getting in and out of the bath, or perhaps adapting a kitchen, or getting in and around the house in a wheelchair. So we'll take that information, and then like when it comes to working out a claim, we'll then work out how many years that will be in the future, work out the calculations, and then we can actually put a price on it. And so then that'll go off to court. Judge will read the report, we'll make arguments, and then they'll work out a sum of money to put on it. So that's practically how it works when it comes to road traffic accidents. Just sort of turning then to the prosthetic leg itself. I mean, a lot of people might think it's all settled down and this is what you've got, but actually dealing with a leg fitting is not straightforward, is it? So you've woken up your operation, you've now got a stump, you spent 6 months doing physio, you're now up and walking-ish, and then just talk us through, like, I think they get you on an inflatable leg first, perhaps, and then just talk people through what you have to do to get to this point.
Yeah, so the first leg, like you rightly said, is like an inflatable bag with a steel cage around it and basically a metal rod that you kind of totter about on, and they put you down the sort of parallel bars that everyone's seen in, like, you're up and down, and then the first leg that I got was quite a basic one because they knew that I wasn't going to be on my feet much with the other injuries.
So a basic leg, that means, from what I understand, you can't walk that quick with these things. They don't move that quick.
At the time, I didn't really know a lot about prosthetics, so it was kind of, you get what you're given, and I think they didn't want to spend too much, because it all comes down to money, doesn't it? They didn't want to spend too much time and money giving me a really fancy prosthetic, because they knew that at the time my stump was still really swollen up, and it wasn't going to last long anyway. I wasn't going to be able to use it much. So
on the stump front, did you have to do anything to sort of help the swelling go down?
Yeah, they gave me these it's like a compression sock. Yeah. So I would wear these compression socks overnight to help the swelling go down, and it did take a long time for the swelling to go down. So the first prosthetic, or the socket that you put the stump in, that didn't last very long, because eventually the swelling went down, and I had to be recast for another one. So what they do is they literally make a plaster of Paris cast over the part of the leg that you've got left, and then take that away and use it to make a socket, like a carbon fibre socket in my case, which they bolt the metal prosthetic to the bottom of. Yeah, I've got two prosthetic legs that I switch between, and they're both a slightly different design.
So they do slightly different things.
Yeah, they do. The one I'm wearing today is more of a. I tend to wear this one if I'm walking a little bit more. I'm going to be on my feet a little bit more. Yeah. The other one is better for, it's a little bit fancier. It's got more adjustment in it. Not that I adjust it. I kind of let the prosthetics.
So for the viewers at home, there are specialists that deal with prosthetic legs. If you're buying a super duper leg, it's around £100,000 for a super duper leg, and they can make adjustments. They can make legs to do different things. If you want to go swimming, if you want to go, you were saying about rock climbing, so you can make specialist legs to do certain things, and the more it does, the more it costs. And so with our clients, what we'll do, if we end up having to deal with an amputation case, we'll go off and get a prosthetic expert report, and then they'll cost it out, because usually you need one leg and a backup at least. Yeah. Often they'll recommend 3 legs in total, and then what we have to do is then project that forward through someone's life to try and work out the cost of it. So if someone's knocked you off in a motorbike accident, you've suffered an amputation, you're going to want these legs for the rest of, or going to need these legs for the rest of your life. And so we'll work out what's needed and how much it costs. So that's kind of a brief overview on the leg side of thing. So your leg isn't yet settled, is it?
No, the one I'm wearing, actually, I only picked this up last week.
Okay.
Because we're still working on, I say we, myself and the prosthetists in the clinic, we're kind of working on different systems and stuff. Something I didn't realise was there's a lot of different types of prosthetic, and different people need them to do different things, and different people have different shaped legs and stuff. So,
do they work out your gait, how quick you stride, how big you stride? And there's loads of science.
And we'll put it on, and then I'll walk up and down on the watch and adjust it a little bit to make sure everything's lined up. So we've tried quite a few different systems, and I think the one that we're on now is certainly the best I've had. But I've only had it about a week, so time will tell.
Find out. So running in then, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, fair play. So, I mean, people know you from the motorbike world, and obviously you suffered a motorbike accident in the TT. I don't know if you'll end up going back racing. I don't. That's maybe for the future. But you've had a go at riding bikes. I know, you're a positive man.
Trying to be, yeah.
Yeah, and you've tried to get on. But I think, would it be fair to say, like, you're looking to the future and going, right, I can ride bikes perhaps now and then, but returning to racing might not be a thing. Is there anything you like? What are you aiming to do in the future? What do you think you'd want to try and achieve?
Do you know what? I think what this whole process has taught me is you've kind of got to take every day as it comes. I remember being in hospital after having just had the leg amputated, and like we mentioned, the Paralympic Games, the Invictus Games, and all the amazing things that people can do with prosthetic limbs and after big injuries. And I remember thinking, well, if they can do that, what's stopping me? That I've got no excuse. And I'm slowly coming to the realization that whilst them things might be possible, first of all, they're not always possible. Secondly, it takes a long time to get to, the level of being able to do simple things, never mind.
I've had this with a lot of younger people, and they suffer something life-changing. And I don't think the reality sets in probably for a couple of years afterwards, and you're going, I'm going to get back to doing this. But having someone done this for a long time and represented people, I kind of know, right, I know what's coming in the future. Yeah. So you can't go quite as fast and hard as you'd like to. Yeah. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. And I've had injuries in the past that I've managed to recover from quite quickly. And I think that almost gave me a bit of a false sense of hope. Yeah. And I thought, I'll be fine. And whilst I am fine, I'm only fine. I'm not able to do a lot of the things that I still want to do. Yeah. And I still hope to get there one day. Yeah. But it's just a matter of time, I think. And time and hard work as well, because I've also realised that you don't, and this is through years of having injuries, I've learned that your body just doesn't just recover by itself. Yeah. You've got to do the physio, you've got to eat the right stuff, you've got to give it the best chance, especially the older we get as well,
I mean, you have been back ridden bikes a couple of times, because I know we'd sponsored 44 Teeth bike last season, and I think you'd ridden it a couple of times. Yeah. Just out of interest for me, really, did you have to do anything to adapt it? I mean, how did you brake? How did you keep your leg from falling off?
So I rode the bike 3 times, and each time I rode it, we tried something a little bit different, and we did make some adaptations, but mainly more to the prosthetic than the actual bike. Yeah. As far as the bike went, literally all we did was we put a bolt through the foot peg so that I could slot the prosthetic onto it.
So you literally bolted your leg on?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it wasn't fixed on it. It just kind of slotted on like a pin. But
and you've done your right foot, so how did you brake?
I just didn't bother.
You didn't bother?
Just didn't bother, yeah. You got a front brake, haven't you? And I never used to use the back brake a lot racing anyway, so I just thought, we'll leave it.
Well, fair play to you. I would have, no way. But that's about it. So no.
Yeah, as far as the bike went, it was pretty. Yeah, we didn't do a lot to it at all. Fair really.
Play to you.
I think we maybe ought to have put a thumb brake on it.
In hindsight,
just be on the safe side, but. That was too much like hard work, so we didn't bother.
Fair enough, sir. Fair enough. So if anyone else at home is in your sort of situation, anything you'd recommend? Any advice you could give, having been through it?
Like I said before, just I guess take every day as it comes and do the physio, try and keep yourself fit and have hope. I think the thing that's got me through it is just hope, really, and knowing that one day things might not be like the same as they were before, but there's no reason why they can't be as good as they were before. Life is going to be different, just like after any big injury, but that doesn't mean it's worse. It's just going to be different. If you really try, then I think for me, how can I word this? I want to get as fit as I can. I want my recovery to go as far as it possibly can, and I know that that'll only happen if I put the effort in. And I think in 10 years time, 20 years time, or when I'm 70 years old, if I'm in a wheelchair and I can't walk and I'm really struggling, but at least I know I've tried my best to get as fit as I can, then I think, oh well, at least I tried, this is as good as I'm going to be. Yeah. If I'm in a wheelchair at 70 and I didn't bother, well, you almost feel like, I don't want to say you've only got yourself to blame, but if you don't put the effort in now, then
So you reap what you sow, basically.
Yeah.
You need to put in the effort, put in the work to try and get as fit as you can.
Yeah, and it's not easy. It's like it's really, some days are really, really, really hard. I remember when I was doing physio like a couple of times a week, I remember thinking like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I'll just stay in a wheelchair because it's too hard. But then a few weeks later, you think, oh well, I'm glad I did do that because now it's being able to stand up and do the dishes when you couldn't last week, or being able to pick yourself up off the floor when you couldn't the week before. It's this small stuff. So if you keep focusing on them little wins like that and just keep a bit of hope, then the world's your oyster.
Fair play. Well, on that final note from Boothy, I think that's the perfect point to end the episode. So thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for having me.
If you could subscribe to our channel, I'd be very grateful. And please feel free to add comments or ask questions underneath. We do read everything and we'll try and answer those questions in later episodes. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Cheers.